In Florida, we have 5 species of bumblebee. Bombus bimaculatus, the 2-spotted bumblebee. Bombus fraternus, the southern plains bumblebee. Bombus griseocollis, the brown-belted bumblebee. Bombus impatiens, the common eastern bumblebee, and Bombus pensylvanicus, the American bumblebee. We did have a 6th called the yellow-banded bumblebee, Bombus terricola, but it hasn't been seen in Florida since 1962. So I'm hoping some of these identification tricks and diagrams that I show you will help you identify the Florida bumblebees in your Florida green space. Enjoy your bee watching. This is a 2-spotted bumblebee, Bombus bimaculatus. As you can see on her thorax, it's mostly yellow except for a small black spot. So that's an identifying feature for this particular bee. And I was really thrilled to find her on my swamp rose, and especially thrilled when I saw her taking a pollen bath in the swamp rose flower. Bumblebees collect pollen inadvertently as they fly from flower to flower. However, occasionally, if they find just the right flower and it's loaded with pollen, they will rub and roll and use their legs to collect the pollen and put as much of it onto their body hairs as they can. Then they go off to a secluded, safe spot and they clean their bodies with the different natural combs they have on their legs. So the front legs have a special comb to clean their antenna of pollen and nectar. And then their center legs have a comb that collects the pollen from the hair off their bodies. So they collect all of the pollen, and that, of course, has a little bit of nectar in it, which makes it stick together. So they collect the pollen, clean themselves, brush themselves, and as they do so, they place it in the baskets on their back legs. So not only are they grooming, they're also collecting pollen for the baskets to take back to the colony to feed the larvae and to feed themselves as well. So if you ever get a chance to stop and watch a bumblebee take a pollen bath, I highly recommend it because it's just fascinating. They're so adorable. They act like they just love the flower so much they can't get enough of it. So they roll around in it and just love on the flower. This is Bombus fraternus, the Southern Plains bumblebee. Unfortunately, I don't have any video for this bumblebee, so we're going to have to settle for a few slides. But I'd like to show you some of the distinguishing features so that will help you ID them. Its scutellum has a black oval area that goes across the thorax from one side to the other, touching each wing joint, rather than a small black spot in the center as some bumblebees have. Their abdomen also has a lot of yellow on it, similar to that of the American bumblebee. Its first two sections, or tergites, are yellow, so the Southern Plains bumblebee has a T1 and a T2 yellow band. This is Bombus griseocollis, the brown-belted bumblebee. This is one of the easier ones to ID because it literally has a brown belt, just as its name suggests. The brown belt on the brown-belted bumblebee is at the second section of the abdomen called T2. The T1 is yellow. Its scutellum, which is its thorax or upper back where the wings are attached, is yellow with a small black spot in the center. This is a female nectaring on a native shrub called the Simpson stopper, and you can tell she's a female because she has very large pollen baskets. And only the females have pollen baskets. This is Bombus impatiens, the common eastern bumblebee. Her thorax and scutellum is mostly yellow, but she does have a small area in the center which is black. It can't always be seen at certain angles. So some angles it appears that the scutellum is all yellow. But as you saw in that first diagram, there is a small portion in the center that is black. Her abdomen is all black except for the first tergite, which is yellow. Tergites are referring to the sections of their abdomen. They usually use the term T1, T2, T3, etc. So on the common eastern bumblebee, only T1 of her abdomen is yellow, with the rest being black. Tergites are the upper portion of the abdomen sections, and the underside sections are referred to as stergites. This is Bombus pensylvanicus, the American bumblebee. The American bumblebee's thorax is all black, unlike the other 4 species, which are yellow with some black in the center of the scutellum in between the wings. So this makes identification much easier. Also, if you remember from the anatomy slide, just past that part of their anatomy is the abdomen. The abdomen is broken down into segments called tergites, and those are referred to as T1, T2, T3, etc. In female bumblebees, they have 6 tergites, and males have 7. A female American bumblebee's abdomen has 3 segments of yellow, or rather 3 tergites that are yellow. T1, T2, and T3 are yellow. So hopefully some of these tips will help you in identifying the bumblebee species that you see in your green space. Thankfully, we only have 5 species to deal with, and 2 of them are very easy to ID, the brown-belted and the American. So if you just practice a little bit, I'm sure that you'll get the hang of it really quickly. I hope you enjoy your bumblebee watching. Here's a diagram of a bumblebee's body parts. So the main components: head, thorax, and abdomen. The bumblebee has a body part in the center of the thorax called the scutellum. The scutellum can be a distinguishing feature when a person is trying to ID bumblebees. Most species in Florida, with the exception of the American bumblebee, have a yellow thorax and a black circle on the scutellum. The American bumblebee scutellum is entirely black. So the second thing you want to look for when you're IDing bumblebees is the tergites, which are bands on their abdomen. They can be yellow, black, or in the brown-belted bumblebee, brown. So these are generally referred to as T1, T2, T3, etc. So the tergites are a very important feature for identification, as well as the scutellum. Females and queens have 6 tergites, and males have 7. Bees can be very difficult to ID on the wings, so my suggestion is to grab as many photographs as you can and compare them either online or to other photographs that you have. I have been seeing a lot of comments about bees having 2 stomachs, and I have not found any scientific data to back this up. As you can see in this diagram, there's a stomach, a single stomach. There is a structure between the stomach and the bee's intestines called a proventriculus, which allows emptying of the stomach into the gut. So occasionally the bee, while she's foraging, will need some calories, so she will allow some of the nectar in her stomach to go into her digestive system so she can get some calories and finish her foraging work for the day. This is a bumblebee sleeping. The breeze is gently rocking her while she takes a nap. They're absolutely adorable when you catch them taking naps. I happened to find quite a few taking naps in the partridge pea patch this morning. So this one is getting ready to take her nap. She's doing a little bit of grooming and just kind of tidying up, making herself comfy. And as you can see, she holds on with the hooks on her legs, and she grasps the stamen filaments of the flower with her jaws. And then she just snoozes off into her dreams. I don't know what bumblebees dream about, but I imagine it's flowers. And there's a bumblebee sleeping on the right side here, just at the edge of the screen, as another bumblebee is foraging around her. I hope you got some tips and tricks on how to identify the bumblebees in your Florida garden. Enjoy your bumblebee watching.